Good morning, all you backyard gardeners. It's Kathy Haig here at A Diva's Guide to Gardening, and I'm got a really important topic these days. I mean, aside from everybody working on emergency gardening and trying to get things in, is pollination. There's many areas of the planet where, of course, bees are endangered, or there's just not enough pollination going on, depending on what's going on ecologically. But there is a simpler solution, especially for backyard gardeners and, small area gardeners that maybe don't have beehives or don't have the room for beehives. You have no intention of having beehives, but we still need the pollination without all the hassle. And a few years ago, I discovered mason bees. Now, they're sometimes called by different names. You'll want to do a Google and a search on it. But mason bees, by their very nature, are solitary bees. I mean, they'll kind of put their nest together, their little mud nest to put their larvae, put their eggs and larvae. But they're very gentle. They don't have the hive mentality because they're not protecting a queen. They're not protecting their winter's food. Their only goal is to collect pollen, which they pack into like nesting tubes, but with a special kind of mud for their young to be able to have food when they hatch out of their eggs, when they're in the larva stage and they go into pupa. I'm going to switch this around here because they have already all hatched out. But there's several advantages. These are mason bee cocoons. Now, I have a little mason bee house built, from a couple years ago. And I got some nesting tubes here. And what they do is individual mason bees will fill up as they lay their eggs. They'll fill up and just pack the mud and pollen between. And what happens is there's several really big advantages to this. Okay, for one, you're not worrying about feeding and protecting them. All you do, by the time you hit end of June, mason bees are done with their life and all the pollinating, which is when you really want all of with the majority of your things, your fruit trees, a lot of the stuff in your garden. That's when your major pollination season happens. You can take and save the cocoons. You take them out because these are all made. I'll show you here. Sorry. I got these. They cost a little bit more than just getting paper tubes, but it lasts for a long time. And somebody had to take and make these so that they fit together properly. They need to be a specific size and length for mason bees to do it. They're very particular about the type of hole that they put their eggs in. So I can use this year after year, and I have a special little tool when they lay all their eggs along their cocoons along the thing, like you saw here. And eventually you can take them and you clean them, and you can store them in a container in the fridge with some paper towel for the winter until you are ready to let them out in the spring. Now, here's the advantage to this, the real advantage. What if you have a really late spring? And, maybe the regular honeybees just aren't surviving well. Maybe there's not enough food for them. You can keep those little cocoons in the fridge until your trees are a quarter to half in bloom. And then you put them out. And what you do here, okay, when I set my tubes in, it's facing the morning sun, my little house here, okay, and it's protected in the afternoon. You don't want them getting too hot, but they need the morning sun on a quiet day. And you put all your little cocoons in there nice and clean. They haven't been damaged or killed by mold or mites or anything through the winter because you've kept them. And they are out. They will hatch out within a few days and pollinate all your trees or your garden or whatever you want when you want. So if you need your pollination in May because it's been a cold late spring and they're wild and they've hatched out in the end of March because of a couple nice warm days, and then they're kind of done by the time you get to the end of May, it's not really in control. I mean, it's very natural, but they're a very easy way to have pollination for whatever you need without having the hive, without having, being worried about getting stung. I'm told they can sting. I've never heard of it. They're very gentle, and if you look them up, just Google, I don't have a picture handy of a mason bee, but if you take a look and just Google them, depending on the type, they almost look like a large fly, some of them, which is what the ones here look like. And you can order them online. A lot of seed companies have them as an alternate to regular pollination. You can order them online. You can get little paper tubes so that you can, just kind of unwrap the cocoons at the end of June when you go to clean them up and store them away for the year. There's a variety of different things. All told, I think to get this set up with the wooden tubes here that are reusable year after year, I can take and scrub out, set them up, order the, I think it was like a dozen bees, and they send you a mix of the male and female. I think it cost about $70 for the setup, and that was like 2 years ago. And I've just been continuing the cycle since, hatching our own and protecting our own. So I really think that there's a lot of really big commercial farms out there that are stressed out because of bees dying. They're literally moving massive beehives by the thousands of hives every spring as it goes through, like to pollinate their almond orchards and things like that. And it's really stressing the bees out. They're dying. You don't have to have those. One of these little bees, the mason bees, pollinate. They are 10 times the pollinators that even a honeybee is. Okay, and I'm not saying people shouldn't have honeybees, but it might be easier and less stressful for the existing populations to work with nature and to use what we have in an easier way. And it's not really expensive, especially compared to the massive output of keeping up regular honeybee colonies. So I hope that helps. And I'm going to get this put in here, let my mason bees get started because they've already all hatched out, as you've seen. And you have a wonderful day out gardening. Go out, take some time in nature. I know there's lots of people getting real cabin fever, getting stressed out. Go out, take 5 minutes and just do some deep and gentle breathing. Breathe in for 4 or 5 seconds and breathe out for 6 or 7. It's really important to be able to just let all that stress go. And let me know what you think of your mason bees. Bye for now.